So I've been playing this new mini cities tycoon game that I found on Roblox recently, and I gotta say this has to be the coziest, most laid-back city building game on Roblox for sure. Everything is really simple to the point, really easy for somebody casual to get into. And pretty much I just kind of want to go through my first city that I built, and I'll show you what it looks like. Maybe I'll give you some tips on how to make your cities look nicer too. So now this city is called Chesapeake. There's a lot going on. Thank you, not Bob. Thank you for the like. There's a lot going on in this city, just as a bird's eye view. As you can see, I'm gonna go through everything. We'll start at the very back here. So this area here, I called it Maytown, and this is mainly like a farming town with some electrical utilities and things like that. It's mainly out in the boonies. It's not really anywhere near anything else. I really didn't have a plan when I made this, so this is all like as I was going. And I was also learning the game on this city. I did start a second city that I'm working on. It's a lot more laid out and planned. Versus this one, I just kind of winged it pretty much. So yeah, this is mainly just like a farming town area, like some wind turbines, and so dotted around I'll have city halls for each major town that I have, or major county, or I guess whatever. But yeah, so this is Maytown, the small little town. This is like the last one I actually made. So I didn't want to overcomplicate it. I just put a bunch of trees. Putting trees fills in areas so nice. A lot of the stuff I have here is just trees, and it just fills out so nice. So now to do what I've done here, you have to have the disable collision Gamepass. But you still can put trees around. It just won't look as clumped up and, you know, as realistic, I guess, even though it's Roblox, I know. But of course, I'm not going to tell you to buy something, but personally, if you are going to buy something and you want your towns to look nicer, get disable collision. There's other game passes, but you don't really need any of these. The no grid is nice to have also, but you don't need it technically. This one, I didn't have no grid. I still had to use the 1x1 grid. If you go and click on something, you can change the grid here, and you can change it to just 1x1, and that's how I did all these. But disable collision, if you want really nice looking cities, is like a must-have if you're trying to make everything as perfect as possible. You don't have to, but anyway, so this over here is the airport. It's a small one. I tried as my best to make like an actual airport, but these are roads, so they drive on them. But I tried to make an actual airport. And here's the two planes that are there. And over here's the military base. I tried to make this disconnected from the main roads because it's a military base. It's not supposed to be connected to a main road. It's supposed to be like sectioned off from the rest of the city and the towns. This is the smallest town in the entire city. This is mainly for the people that are coming into the city who want to, you know, stay at a hotel for the night after getting off of their flight. And just a couple small shops dotted around, nothing too crazy. Now this is probably my favorite area over here. This is another town. I called it Greenville. I didn't really name it off of the Roblox game. I just thought it was a cool name. It's a county or a town based off of the city hall I have in the middle. That's kind of how I base all my districts, I guess. I'm not a big city builder person. I haven't played City Skylines. I haven't played like any of those games. I just found this and I thought it'd be fun to try and make a city from it. But that's how I try to at least separate everything. All the major towns is put a city hall. So this is just one of those like outskirt towns, but it's still kind of in the middle. It's not too far off. This is connected, all these factories. It's mainly a factory and like production based town. Like it's got a big industrial park right here with all the factories. So it's mainly a industrial, like factory based town. Got a little college here and a stadium and a high school over here, the kindergarten, and then a middle school. So we got all the main types of schools here, and a little warehouse area, like a self-storage thing. And then we have all of our services right here: hospital, police, fire station. I think it turned out really well. I love the idea here. It just, again, I winged it and it turned out really good. I like it. So we move over here, coastal road, I guess. Little farms, and I have a little coal mine right here. It's just little farms dotted around, and it's mainly just somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. You know, there's not much out here. There's a little gas station to refuel, but that's pretty much it. You know, you just enjoy the view out in the ocean. So good with trees. It's so nice to just fill in a bunch of open, empty spaces with trees. Now, this isn't an actual town. I didn't put a city hall or anything back here, but this is meant to be like a coal mining town. You know, there's little houses over here, and obviously we have the coal mines over here. Like I said, this isn't the biggest city ever. It's nothing crazy, but it's the most thought out that I could make and realistic. But yeah, so we just have a couple of utilities over here and services, and then gas station and supermarket. And then over here we have a college town. We have the main college, we have some dorms right here with a little park back here. And we have our like main, you know, services here, restaurant and all that, gym for all the gym bros. But yeah, over here we have the little beach resort area. We have a big hotel here, and we have a bunch of beach houses. And then we have a little beach area over here, resort. And we have little yachts. And now we go over to this town. This is another town. Again, you can see it's a town because I marked it by the city hall. And around here I just have some apartments. This is a pretty small town, just, you know, a nice little neighborhood right here. We have our little supermarket area, furniture and clothing, you know, just the basics. And we have a middle school and a high school, and there's no college in this town. But we have two little farms over here. But here's the zoo. I added a couple animals here right around. I didn't know what to put here, so I thought a zoo would look nice. And we have some tigers, giraffes, pandas, and seals. One thing I will say about the game that I don't like is the pathing sometimes. These little things here are paths, and they are kind of hard to mess with to make them perfect. So that's why this is kind of all over the place. I could also just be doing it wrong. This is also my first go around, so it could be I'm just not doing it right. Yeah, we have a nice little area over here. Now this is the business district, I would say. This was also like the first couple skyscrapers I had in my city, because I started with this area right here, and then I expanded out all the way around here. So yeah, this was meant to just be kind of like the business area for all like the tech companies and stuff. This city hall right here is for this entire zone right here. So this is the city right here. This is the main city. I only put one city hall here, and that's for that entire area. Over here we have the middle school, high school, kindergarten, and we have the college all in one area here. And of course, since we have that here, we have a nice little theme park in the back for anybody who wants to go and unwind after school. We also have all the cafes and stuff back here, and the movie theater. We have the main park right here for this area. I thought it was really nice. It fit. And we have a Japanese garden. And if we go over here, just another area with some schools and, you know, hotels, services, you know, buildings and things like that. A lot of the stuff, if I don't know what to do, I'll just put in random buildings and things to try and fill out the area. And if not, I'll just put little bits of trees and stuff around. Definitely helps fill in a lot of the empty space by putting trees. Over here we do have a little power plant, a little nuclear power plant back here. I thought I needed to have a power plant somewhere. I thought it would fit, and I thought that would be a good area to have it. Pretty far away from the city, so it's not impacting anybody. But this is kind of where the magic happens. So obviously we have a little college over here. We have some more dorms and apartment buildings for people. But now we're starting to get into the big skyscrapers and the actual downtown city area. You'll definitely notice I have a lot of parking lots and parking garages around here. I mean, it is a big city. I want my citizens to have places to park. Now this, I believe, is the Canadian Tower, the one in Toronto. This is supposed to be an American-based city, but I don't know. I just figured I'd add it in here. We also have the Burj Khalifa over here, so it's not really American, but yeah, so a lot of these are just random buildings I put in. I just wanted to fill out the area. These areas here I thought were really nice. I just rotated them certain ways to make everything fit in these odd spaces. I got inspiration from like Miami and cities like that where they have a big road and a bunch of nice buildings on the side, like a strip. That's kind of where I went with this. And then over here we have the prison, which for all the bad guys that go here. But yeah, there's not really much else to say. I just kind of winged it on this, and I just think the city looks really nice, especially from a bird's eye view. It's really filled out. But I always use the nature set here, and I always use this nature set right here. They always usually fit together really nice. And yeah, I'll dot around some mountains if I want to fill up a lot of extra space without just putting trees. You know, if I feel like it fits, like that mountain I feel like fits there. And over here I have a bunch of different mountains. Okay, so we're in Second City. I named it Reading. A big thing I do is I always build my roads, any of them, I always build them in the 5x5 grid. And if I'm trying to build a little town area, I'll always use squares and diagonals like this, because everything fills out a lot nicer. Biggest thing I can say with roads too is plan your roads before you place a bunch of buildings. You know, if you have a bunch of roads placed, you can always fill in areas with buildings and trees and things like that. But if you start placing all your buildings first, like this or whatever, it's very hard to plan around them sometimes, because now you have all these different buildings and then you'd have to do this and curve it this way. And it's just hard to build around that. Always plan your roads first. That's another big thing I will say. That's why a lot of this stuff, I have roads already planned out before I place any buildings or anything. I always do the roads first. Also, another thing, every time you place an object, the prices of everything goes up. So if this road is 135 million, even if I only place it one tile, it doesn't matter. It's still gonna go up in price. Versus if I make it that long. It doesn't matter with roads. They always go up in price no matter how big or small the road is. So try not to make a bunch of tiny roads like this, because you're just wasting money at that point. Now for me, I definitely waste money because I try and make my roads perfect and then I keep deleting them, and you don't get money back for deleting things. So do not delete anything unless you need to. That's another big thing I'll say. Another tip I will give is fill out one area before you keep going on to other ones. You know, I want to fill out this entire island here before I start going over here and adding a bunch of buildings and things like that. It's okay to go and add roads everywhere because you want to have your, road network, but don't just focus on putting buildings in one spot here, then come over here and do this spot or do that spot. Try and fill out each area as you go. At the beginning of the game, you won't have all your plots unlocked. You'll have to pay for them. So try and fill out an area before you go on to do other areas. It helps in the long run, plus it'll make your town look a lot nicer when you have, bits that you do at a time. So that's going to be the end of the video pretty much. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe. I think this game's fun. I think you should give it a try if you are interested in city building games. I've never even really built one before, and it's actually pretty good as far as like how realistic you can get with it for a Roblox game. I guess I'll talk to you guys in the next video, and bye-bye.